What's good, my fellow foilers? This video is gonna be about downwinding on small lakes. So, what you see in the background is something I've always thought to be impossible on my local lake. And that's due to me living in Berlin. And even though Berlin is a pretty beautiful city, it's unfortunately also pretty landlocked. And even though we have quite a few bodies of water, most of them are really small and only range to maybe about 5 to 7 kilometers of fetch, which I always thought would be not enough to develop waves once the wind hits. But this day proved my assumptions wrong. We had 18 to 38 knots and fetch of maybe like 5 to 7 kilometers. As you can see right here, the route we did not completely match the wind direction, which I really think made the waves smaller in a few places, and if the wind would be a bit more south, the waves could get even better. But the great thing was, it works. It's not like a downwinder somewhere in the Baltic Sea or in the ocean. It's way slower. The waves are maybe 1.5 seconds period or even less. So it's every meter there's a wave. But still, it's a lot of fun, and I would really wish that we had conditions like this more often. As it's not a typical downwinder. There's not the rush of going super fast. There's not the struggle of getting up. There's just really slow moving waves and a lot of fun recycling each single bump. I think it could be a bit weird if someone is not used to big foils, as we went on pretty big foils. I will show a picture of our setups. I went with the Axis 1300, a pretty small fuse, a self-made stabilizer, 75 mast, and a self-designed 118 liter 7.7 by 18 subfoil downwind board. And Patrick went on the Axis 1401, the No Limits 72, and the Vampire Sirius board. And that's pretty big foils actually, but I think I couldn't have done it on the Axis 1201 or something even smaller. So I was pretty glad to have a big foil, as it's super slow. Like the pump foiling, you're faster than these waves move. But that's not only a downside, as because of the slow moving waves, we really had to turn a lot. And this was super fun to just go into the wave, out, in and out and in, and just turning basically the whole way. Made it quite a lot of fun. And then also I think for the Axis 1300, it was the perfect speed range. I tried downwinding it in the Baltic Sea, which is not the ocean. It's probably in a few places they would consider it a bay one, what we have there, but still I felt like bumps were overtaking me. I wasn't fast enough, and in these conditions, the Axis 1300, I felt like it's at its peak speed range. So it felt super efficient. It just glided through. I could turn a lot, and I just loved it. I think it's a bit weird if you're used to going fast on a downwinder and used to going with small foils. Also, a lot of wingers who go on small foils would be a bit disappointed by it. But if you're used to kind of bigger foils, pump foiling, and maybe also turning on a pump foil, and if you're just used to bigger wingspans, this is amazing. And I think if we would have conditions like this on a daily basis, I would do nothing else on this lake than go for these small, maybe 5 kilometers on foil downwinders, as it's just amazing. It's turning, it's gliding, it's really cool. And another thing I was completely surprised by is how easy it was to get going. I think especially when I started like the flat water paddling, I started on big foils as well, and then progressed to smaller foils and smaller foils. So now when I go flat water paddling on a big foil, I'm always surprised at how easy it now is for me to get it up, where in the beginning I struggled super hard. But now, especially on this one with these small and slow bumps, I think this was the easiest conditions I ever had to get going. You just didn't need to develop speed. It was just a few strokes and you're fast enough to catch the bump basically. And I think that's why a lot of the coaches get people to go on bay ones a lot of the time, as it's just easier on conditions like this. So in summary, I think the position from where it worked was like 1.5 kilometers of fetch in 18 to 38 knots in the gusts, but the ground wind, it was more like 18 knots most of the time. And yeah, if you have wind like this, it only takes 1.5 kilometers of fetch until waves develop, which you can then downwind foil, which is pretty amazing, I think, as there are a lot of lakes spread over Germany that have more fetch than 1.5 kilometers. So if you have a lake that's like 3 kilometers, you can go on 1.5 kilometer downwind once, which is amazing, I think, and it opens up a lot of possibilities, as I always thought like you need a lake that's 20 kilometers of fetch or something, but no, turns out 1.5 kilometers for this kind of wind should do the job and is already a lot of fun. So yeah, I can't wait until we have the next storm coming to Berlin, as we will definitely go on another downwinder. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. We definitely enjoyed the session. It was a lot of fun. It was great to find out, and I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah!